I can still feel the weight of that silence settling over the room like a storm cloud about to burst. The private dining suite at Eclipse Bistro in downtown Manhattan was aglow with soft amber lights from crystal chandeliers. The kind of place where Wall Street elites sealed deals over aged whiskey and filet mignon. Linen tablecloths draped perfectly, silverware gleaming, and vases of fresh orchids perfuming the air. Everyone was there, my parents, dressed in their finest, Mom in her sapphire evening gown that caught the light just right. Dad in his tailored charcoal suit, the one he saved for board meetings. Across from them sat Ryan's folks, Eleanor in a sleek ivory sheath dress, her pearls catching the glow, and Victor, stern as ever in his pinstripe ensemble, nursing a scotch. My little brother was snapping photos on his phone, grinning like this was the highlight reel of a Hallmark movie. Ryan's sister and her husband murmured over wine, while cousins and close friends filled the seats, turning the space into a cocoon of familial warmth. 8 years. That's how long Ryan Hayes and I had been tethered in this marriage. 8 years of me bending over backward to be the ideal partner, planning his networking events, smoothing over his moods, silencing that nagging doubt in my gut that something was rotting beneath the surface. Ryan stood abruptly, his chair screeching against the polished hardwood floor. The chatter died instantly, all eyes turning to him. He flashed that polished grin, the one that had once made my knees weak, the one he'd weaponized over the years. He lifted his wine glass, tapping it lightly with a fork, the chime cutting through the ambient jazz playing softly in the background. I just want to say how grateful I am that everyone's here tonight, he began, his voice steady, laced with that executive charm he'd honed in countless pitch meetings. Having both our families together like this, it means the world. Mom beamed at me across the table, her eyes misty with what she assumed was impending romance. My brother gave me a quick wink, probably imagining viral proposal vibes even though we were already hitched. I felt a flush creep up my neck from the spotlight, but I managed to smile, playing the part. Ryan went on. 8 years ago, I married the woman right here beside me. 8 years of sharing a life, chasing dreams, building something real. There was an edge in his tone now, a chill disguised as warmth that made my stomach knot. I tried to shake it off, telling myself it was nerves. And in those 8 years, he continued, his smile stretching wider but his eyes turning flat, like polished stones. I've discovered a lot about who I am, about what I truly need, about the future I deserve. Eleanor nodded approvingly, likely picturing a heartfelt vow renewal. Dad sat rigid, his gaze sharpening on Ryan in a way that suggested he sensed the shift. So, on this special night, our 8th anniversary, I want to lay it all out. Be totally transparent with the people who matter most, Ryan declared. He reached into his blazer pocket, pulling out a thick manila envelope with deliberate slowness, the crinkle of paper amplifying in the hushed room. My pulse quickened, a cold dread pooling in my chest. This wasn't right. He slid the stack across the table toward me, the documents fanning out slightly in front of my untouched dessert plate. Emily, I'm filing for divorce, he announced, voice booming with a twisted triumph. That grin now a smirk of victory. The room froze. Utter stillness. The jazz track swelled mockingly in the void. My brother's phone clattered to the table. Mom's hand clamped over her mouth, stifling a gasp. Eleanor blinked in confusion, as if the words didn't compute. Dad's knuckles whitened on his glass. Ryan folded his arms, staring me down, anticipation gleaming in his eyes. He wanted the breakdown, the tears, the pleas, the public unraveling that would feed his ego, confirm his power. My hands trembled, but not from grief. Rage surged through me, hot and unyielding. How dare he orchestrate this spectacle, turning our anniversary into a stage for my humiliation, reducing me to a prop in his ego trip? For a beat, I stared at those papers. The bold header screaming, "Petition for dissolution of marriage." Then, a switch flipped inside me, ice replacing fire. Clarity cutting through the haze. I reached for my clutch beside my chair, fingers steadying as they closed around the leather folder I'd carried for weeks. A safeguard I'd prayed I'd never deploy, but had prepared meticulously. Ryan's smirk flickered, uncertainty creeping in. He hadn't scripted this. He expected collapse, not composure. I set the folder on the table, opening it with measured calm. One by one, I slid the photographs across the pristine cloth. The first landed before Eleanor, Ryan locked in a passionate kiss with his side piece outside a trendy Brooklyn loft. Her face drained of color, eyes widening in betrayal. She bolted upright, her chair toppling with a thunderous thud. Then came the slap, sharp, resounding, etching a red welt across Ryan's cheek. The room shattered into chaos. It started on a crisp autumn Wednesday in Chicago. 9 years back when I still believed in serendipity. In love at first sight. Before I learned that fate was just a fancy word for choices that haunt you. My family ran Carter Innovations, a tech firm Dad had bootstrapped from a garage startup into a powerhouse in software solutions for small businesses. At 24, fresh from my MBA, I was eager to prove I wasn't just riding coattails. That day, I was at a tech summit, networking amid suits and startups, when someone jostled me at the refreshment bar. A splash of latte on my sleeve. "Damn. I'm so clumsy, sorry about that," came the voice, smooth as silk. I turned to face him, Ryan Hayes, tall with tousled brown hair, in a sharp navy suit that screamed ambition. His green eyes crinkled with what seemed like genuine apology as he dabbed at my arm with a napkin. "Let me make it up to you, Ice. A new coffee? I'm Ryan. By the way," I laughed it off, introducing myself as Emily Carter. His face lit up. "Carter? As in Carter Innovations? Your dad's a legend in the tech space, built an empire from nothing. Ethical to the core. That's rare these days." Pride swelled in me. Anyone who admired Dad scored points. We talked for hours, him about his venture capital gigs, his upscale upbringing, his visions of disrupting industries, me about coding side projects, wanting to earn my stripes beyond the family name, my passion for AI ethics. He texted that night. Dates followed in a blur, rooftop dinners with skyline views, private yacht charters on Lake Michigan, spontaneous weekends in Napa. It felt like a rom-com scripted just for us. Dad met Ryan at a family barbecue 2 months in. Mom adored him. He praised her homemade apple pie, helped with the grill. But Dad pulled me aside later, his voice low. "Watch yourself, kiddo. He's got that polished vibe, but his questions about the business feels off. Like he's eyeing the company more than you." I brushed it off as overprotectiveness, defensive of my whirlwind romance. Ryan proposed after 10 months, on a helicopter tour over the city at dusk. Ring a massive solitaire that screamed excess. Yes tumbled out effortlessly. Dad frowned through the engagement party, Mom dove into wedding plans. Ryan's parents hosted a formal meet, Eleanor gushing over gaining a daughter, Victor pontificating on legacy and wealth preservation. The wedding was extravagant. $75,000 tab, mostly footed by my folks, despite the Hayes old money. I didn't care, I was blinded by bliss. Year 1 blurred in domestic haze, our sleek condo in the Loop, me curating the perfect home, hosting investor soirees for Ryan's deals. But cracks emerged subtly. "That outfit's a bit casual for the gala, don't you think?" he'd say, eyebrow arched. At first, I took it as care. I adjusted, sought his approval. By year 2, the digs deepened. You're letting yourself go a little. My partner's wife hits the spin class daily, maybe try that. I'd gained a few pounds from stress eating alone while he networked late. I signed up for the gym. Pushed through sweat sessions I despised, chasing the spark in his eyes from our early days. But it escalated, still no results? Effort matters. You know, year 3 brought the late nights, 10 p.m. Stretching to 2 a.m. Client dinners. Babe. Building our empire. I'd reheat meals. Eat solo. Ignore the floral scents clinging to his shirts. Eleanor dropped by often. Her advice, laced with barbs. Ryan mentions you're buried in work at your dad's firm. A wife's priority should be her home front. I'd bite my tongue. But soon Ryan echoed her verbatim, eroding my confidence. By year 4, I was a shadow, down 12 pounds. Wardrobe vetted by him. Friends faded because they're too dramatic. Why can't you be more like Sophia? He'd snap. His assistant. I felt the twist in my gut but buried it. I upped my game, coding boot camps to discuss his ventures intelligently. Gourmet cooking classes. Yet he grew colder. Your dad still hasn't looped me into any deals, he'd gripe in year 5. 5 years married. And I'm still on the outside? Thought this came with partnerships. The truth dawned, he'd married the Carter name. Not me. Year 6 stripped the facade, raw bitterness. Your old man's hoarding his empire like a miser. Drives home from family dinners turned venomous. His grip on the wheel vice-like. I retreated to Dad's office more. Escaping the echoing condo. Dad's worried glances, you okay? You seem dimmed. I'd fake smiles. Ryan's absences reeked of perfume. I stopped probing. Year 7 hollowed me out, routine zombie mode. Solo dinners. Separate beds, your tossing keeps me up. Sophia morphed from mention to obsession. Sophia gets the grind, unlike you. I stalked her online, 27. Polished Instagram queen. Photos from luxe spots with Ryan lurking in frames. Heartbreak curdled to numbness. But Ryan's anniversary hype puzzled me, months of planning a grand family bash. Let's make it epic, he'd say, grinning oddly. Hope flickered, maybe redemption. Then, 7 weeks out, fate intervened. He left his phone charging, a buzz. From Sophia, counting down, 7 weeks till that drab wife's history. Love you. Stud. I scrolled. World crumbling, affair text spanning years. Him trashing me as clingy. Useless, plotting to crush her at the dinner with papers. Worse, thefts, hawking my heirloom sapphire pendant, gifted by Dad. Stolen per Ryan. Family watches. Even Mom's antique brooch. Funds funneled to Sophia's extravagances. And scams, leveraging Carter Innovations' rep to swindle investors out of $250,000 in bogus AI startups. Rage crystallized. I emailed screenshots. Wiped traces. Called Dad's attorney. Marcus Lee Sharp. Loyal. This is fraud. Embezzlement, he growled. Hired PI Carla Ruiz. Tough. Efficient. Weeks later. Dossier thick. Affair pics timestamped back 3 years. Secret accounts racking $40,000 debt from our joint funds. Pawn receipts. Investor complaints. Audio. Ryan mocking his parents as delusional fossils, plotting inheritance grabs. Vowing to watch Emily beg. Numbness hardened to resolve. I'd attend that dinner. Armed. The night arrived. I armored in a crimson gown that accentuated the strength I'd reclaimed. Makeup fierce. Heirloom earrings defiant. Ryan barely glanced. Buzzing with anticipation. At Eclipse. Families mingled. Toasts flowing. Post entrees. His stand. The envelope. The declaration. Gasps. Then my counter. Photos to Eleanor, a fair evidence. Her horror. The slap. More. Theft proofs, sold heirlooms. Dad's fury. You pilfered from us? Scams docs to Victor. Disgust. Texts. Ryan's vitriol exposed. Eleanor wept. Monster. Victor's ultimatum. Repay or jail. Ryan crumbled. Excuses flying. Emily drove me to it. Never enough. Dad roared. I pitched you entry-level roles twice, you sneered. Families exited, leaving Ryan with Marcus. Papers signed. Fault admitted. Assets forfeited. Restitution mandated. No charges if complied. Months later. Ryan liquidated. Broke. Sophia ghosted. I traveled to Spain with Mom. Therapied through scars. Launched Empower Consult, guiding women from abuse to autonomy. A year on. In a cozy Brooklyn cafe. A genuine guy, Alex, struck up chat over books. No rush. No facade. I gave my number. Stepping into hope reclaimed. Ryan aimed to shatter me instead. He forged my freedom. The cost? My illusions. The gain? Myself.